Lane, and I'm going to be doing this. It's going to be like a late review on the Leatherman Rev. Now, let me tell you why I'm doing this. Okay, a few reasons. One, I put a video up on YouTube 6 years ago, and somehow it has disappeared. And even though I have the original file here, I could re-upload it. It's 22 minutes long, and I'm not going to do a 22-minute video for people on something that's been out for about 7 years. But the reason I started getting a notice on this was because they stopped doing the Rev about 2 years ago, stopped marketing it, and they replaced it with the Bolster. Well, the Bolster seems to have gotten discontinued, at least in my area, and they're only selling the Rev now instead of the Bolster. So let's talk about our price here. I got $49.95 on my price, okay? And originally it was $35. Let me give you a little history of Leatherman on this. About 7 years ago, the Wave was $35. I know what you're saying. I must be smoking grass or something, but nope. The Wave was $35, and Leatherman found that was their best seller. So they jacked the price up almost overnight to $100. And, well, they decided there was a void in the market now for the mid-price multi-tools. And they wanted to make something bigger than the Micra and the Style PS, but not as big as the Wave or as big as the Surge. I think this is about the size of the Wave. So they made the Rev and it was $35. Now they're remarketing it and it's $49.95. Okay, I'm not going to go through all the stuff that they're saying on this website, but I'm showing this because I no longer have the box since I've had this for so long. Okay, but there is a list of the tools that it says it has, and we're going to talk a lot about some of these. Okay, but where I'm looking at this, where it's like it's got a ruler and it's got a wood/metal file. Okay, so we're definitely going to be talking in depth on some of this stuff. All right, so let's go to specs here. Try that one again. Not apparel specs. There we go. The weight is 5.9 ounces. When I weighed this, it was about 5.8, but that's okay. This thing is so lightweight. I have forgotten that I've had it on me, and I've gone through. I've tried to go through TSA with it on my belt, and I realized I've got it. I'm like, oh God. But they were really cool about it. This is on the island of Kauai, so they just let me go back out to the parking lot, which was like right there next to the place, and drop the tool off in my truck and then come back. So they were pretty good about it. If I was in Honolulu, they'd have stolen the tool. That's how and then they auction them off. If you ever check their website, they have auctions like 4 or 5 times a year, and they'll auction about 500 tools that they've stolen from passengers. Anyway, closed length 3.8 inch, open length 6 inches, primary blade length 2.6 inches. Okay, blade hardness 55 to 59 HRC. I don't really know what that means, but that's okay. The width is about 1.24 inches. So the size is pretty decent. It's not too big, not too small. Overall thickness 0.59 inches. The material is 428C stainless. Hey, I've had this for 7 years. I don't have signs of rust or anything like that happening. And that knife blade, I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on. The knife blade itself is stellar. So I don't have an issue with that. All right, so let's go to the next part of the video then. Okay, let us begin on this part of it then. Okay, it didn't come with the case, so I made my own. And I usually keep this little piece of paracord on it when it's in the case, because it just helps me pull it out easy, because I made the case deep on purpose. Don't want to lose things. All right, let's talk about the blade first. Okay, first of all, this blade, all the good stuff on it. 7 years of use, and I haven't had to actually sharpen. And I use this blade almost every day. Okay, I strop it or I hunt it after each use, and it's still razor sharp. It will do the whole paper test. It'll shave my arm, the whole 9 yards. Okay, but 7 years of use, and this blade is still a solid performer. Okay, let's talk about what I don't like. I think they tried to make this to where it would be a one-hand opening. That's why I think they've got this groove here, the little opening assist. Now, if they just did it the assist opening, then hey, you know, 100% success because it makes it really easy to open. But if they intended this for a one-hand opening deal, the problem is this groove that's on the blade should have been here. Zoom it in a little bit. It should have been here, okay? Because when you say you get the blade into this position, you're wanting to have your thumb over in this area anyway to continue it. Over here is not a natural curve for your thumb, okay? So, but if they would have switched the position of these two right there, oh, this would have been really sweet for one-handed opening. That's my opinion, okay? Not that you got to open in one hand, but if you wanted to, some people like to. If you wanted to, you could. But it opens nice and easy just doing that. Okay. And this little liner lock thing here works really good. I've had some fail, but on this tool, it's never failed. Okay. So every other tool you have to open this up for. Now, I know on the Leatherman website, their webpage, it says tools accessible from the outside. The only thing accessible from the outside is the knife blade. Okay, so not important to me that I got to open it up to do this. Let's talk about the screwdrivers. We'll start with this one, and I always close it up when I'm using it. Okay, none of the tools other than the knife blade lock. So if while I'm using it, I'm putting some pressure on it and I'm not going straight, so this will bend down. Okay, now this has been my EDC, and I've got like Surge, and I got Gerber MP600, and I've got the Skeletools, and I've got the Victorinox Boatsman and all that stuff, and honestly just don't want to carry every day, so I don't care that this doesn't lock. It'd be nice if it did, but it's not hurting anything. Okay, but this works really good. This works really good. There's a limitation on these though, is if I've got to go into a recessed hole, like say a lot of electric, you know, small portable electric fans people might have, and you have to push into a small hole to turn the screw for whatever reason. This is only going to go that far. Your hole has to be at least this diameter in here, and it's got to be less than that distance or you're not going to be able to do it. So just kind of take that for what it's worth. All right, let's close this up. This one on the other hand, Phillips, cross point, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Now this is a thin one. It's not like it's, you know, the full shank all the way around, but it still works good. Okay. So I've got this partially started screw here, and I can go in with it. And what I like to do is almost act like I'm a ratchet. So I pull out a little bit. I know you might not be able to see that I am, but I pull out a little bit, and then I seat it in there firmly and I turn it. Okay. And then after I go in, however I'm going to go in, you know, then I'm done. Okay. And I just reverse that process going out. Okay. So it's actually very easy screwdriver to use. But the limitation, just like the other one, is you're stuck with that kind of length. Okay. If that's not an issue for you, then, you know, you'll probably enjoy this tool when you got to turn a screw every once in a while. Okay, this is the type of tool that's one of those jack of all trades, master of none deal. Okay, let's go ahead and hit these pliers here. All right, they say needle nose pliers here, and then they market this middle part as like regular pliers. And then you've got the wire cutters, and in this part would be the crimpers, okay? And you can strip. You can see this. Maybe I don't know if you can, but there's this little hole that doesn't close at the beginning, but you can push into it, okay? For stripping wires, okay? I don't really use it for that. I have used it and it works, but I don't use it for that. I'll do a lot of electrical work with this. Okay. But what you might want to do with this is maybe, you know, remove a nut or bolt or put one in, right? Okay. So here's the thing. This only opens this far. Which actually I wouldn't even be able to get my hand around that good to crank it down, right? So my hand is only going to be able to go onto it about like here, and this is with a modified grip on my part, okay? I really like the handles though, very ergonomic, and I like the curvature on them, okay? But if I'm looking at this, I can do it just like that. No problem, okay? No problem at all. And I don't have to turn an awful lot, and I'll release my grip. So I'm kind of like I'm ratcheting, even though I'm not, okay? And when I get it loose enough that I can do it with my finger, I just do it with my finger. That's usually how I do things, even if I'm using a ratchet, okay? And then when I want to tighten up, I do this. Now, I don't normally prefer to do that. For the main reason is pliers like this can kind of eat up or mar up the nut or bolt that you're using it on, okay? So you can kind of see there's like it's kind of eaten up a little bit just because I've done this a few times with these pliers, okay? So I don't normally do that, but it will work, you know, in a pinch. You just got to have something. You're only going to do one or two. It'll work, okay? So let's look at the tools on the other side then. I've got these three tools right here. Let's start with this one. This is my favorite tool in the whole thing. It's a package opener. Now, give you a little bit of history of the Leatherman Rev, okay? About 7 or 8 years ago, the mid-range price multi-tool by Leatherman was the Wave. And it was about $35. I know what you're saying. No, you can't be talking about the Wave. That thing's like 120 bucks. No, it was the Wave. It was $35. And it was selling so good that Leatherman got a little bit greedy and they said, you know, I'll probably make more money on this and just jack that price up. So they did. They made the Wave $100 right away. I mean, 35 to $100. So they had to make something that they felt they needed to make something for kind of like a mid-range price that's not one of the smaller tools like the Micro or the Style PS, okay? So they made this. Right, and one of the features on this was this package opener. Now, they sold this for about 5 years, and then decided, okay, they're going to discontinue the Rev and make the Bolster. And the only difference, if you got a Bolster side by side with the Rev, it's identical except for this tool is missing. And instead of the package opener, the Bolster has a small serrated blade. So that blade is about this length right here. And it's just serrated blade. So it depends on what you would prefer. You want the serrated blade or you want the package opener. Serrated blade can open a package, but this is much safer in doing so. Okay? So what you basically do is you take this part right here, which is not even sharp enough to cut my hand. Seriously, I've done this before. I know it's not going to cut me. Okay? This is actually a good orange peeler too, by the way. But you just take this and you push it into that hard clear shell stuff on some of the electronics that you might buy, like a graphing calculator or something. And once you push that in like this, you just kind of go in, a little bit of leverage, put it in. Then you can take it like this and just pull it through, and it will cut those packages open real easy. Okay, really easy. Awesome tool. This is my favorite thing on this tool. Okay, so let's go to the next part in here. Close it all down. I just find it easier doing it this way. Okay, let's get the file. For me, the file is the biggest fail on this tool. Okay, the file and the ruler. They advertise it, they market it as these are two separate tools. And of course, you know, you got the ruler on it and stuff. But here's the problem on both of them. The file would be great. I like this type of file, but it would be great if these edges were straight. And they're not. So anything I'm trying to file ends up skipping because of this crap right there. And you might be much better at filing things than I am, but it's just really bad for me to use. I don't use this as a file at all because it's total failure in my opinion. And then the other side, the ruler part, right? Okay, because these are not straight. This, in fact, this is slightly curved, and then this has this whole little indentation, and then this comes out almost like an arrowhead, and then tapers down, right? Because of that, you're not going to get a straight measurement on anything. So if I was in a hardware store and I wanted to measure something just to make sure I was getting the right one, because sometimes I get put in the wrong bins, this is not going to really do that good. So they really should have just like had this grinded straight. In fact, I'm going to do that in my shop. I'm going to grind this straight here and grind this straight down here. I'm going to let it taper like that, but it's going to be straight taper all the way. And that's going to be much better because of it. All right, so let's put that away. To me, that's the only real failure on this tool. Otherwise, this tool would be a 10. Let's pop this one open right there. Okie dokie. Can opener. All right, well, you know what? I've got the Surge. I've got an MP600. I got a whole bunch of Victorinox. I've got, God, I don't know, like a dozen multi-tools. This is the best can opener on all of them combined. This is better than all of them, okay? This is also marketed as a bottle opener too, or they say cap lifter, but it works good for that, but it's great as a can opener. Best one I've used, best one. So, get that closed up. So my summary on this, okay, first of all, it's lightweight, okay? It's very lightweight. When I wear this, I have forgotten I've had it on me and tried to go through TSA at an airport. That didn't go so well. They let me leave the line and go put it in my truck, but that could have been kind of disastrous there. So I was totally forgetting I had it on me just because the weight is so light, okay? This is one of the jack of all trades, master of none, but there's a lot of really good things on this, okay? I'm not going to give it a perfect 10 just because of that the file / ruler, but hey, for tools, you know, this Leatherman Rev, this is definitely one of the better ones. Definitely one of the better ones. This has been Talon with Old Guy Stuff in Busy Corner Land. Have a safe, happy, peaceful, wonderful day, and goodbye.